Oh, welcome, and hello. I'm Dan, your friendly fishmonger here at dansfish.com. We do this live stream every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 9 Eastern Time for those that might be mountain challenged. Thanks for coming by, spending a bit of your Wednesday evening with us. We're off to a good start. There's already 76 folks in here watching this live stream. Thanks for being here. I think that's awesome. 82. It keeps going up. People keep coming in. That's how it should be, right? Yeah. That's great. We're trying to grow the stream. We're trying to grow the Dance Fish channel on YouTube. Trying to grow dansfish.com, get the business growing. So everyone participating is very, very much welcomed. All right. We're going to do our shipping report. After that, we're going to do our giveaway, and it's a pretty good one. And then after that, I'm going to tell you about some goings-ons here at Dan's Fish. We have some new stuff listed. Johnny has been busy today, so I'm going to go through that with you. And there was something else. Oh yeah, then we're going to chat. Then we'll just respond to your questions and comments and talk about aquarium fish. So if you want to know about freshwater aquariums, aquarium fish, breeding, raising fish, shipping fish, the fish business, how to run a fish store, any of that stuff, I can help you. If you want to know about saltwater fish, I'm not your guy, just freshwater. If you want to know about plants, I don't know much. I can tell you the tiny bit I do know. But that's what we do here. So we're going to start with the shipping report. I am ecstatic to tell you that despite all the winter weather, we are at 99% success here at Dance Fish. Over the last 12 months running, 99% of the fish we have sent to our customers have arrived alive and in apparent good health and look like they're robust and going to make it for the customer. So I'm pretty excited about that. 99 on the dot is where we're at as of a few minutes ago. So as always, if you're one of the rare 1% that did have problems with your order, I apologize. I'm really sorry. Anyone that's ordered from us, you can tell we do our very best, take every precaution to make sure the fish get to you on time. So in that rare 1% when it does go wrong, I feel bad for you. I'm a hobbyist too. I know what that feels like. So I'm sorry for that. But 99% has been good. So that's not bad. I would put that shipping record up against anyone, anywhere, anytime. We're doing good work here. It just feels good. We have an awesome crew, awesome employees, awesome people working really hard because we actually care. We actually care. Yep. Frankly, madame, we give a deer. All right. So that is the shipping report. Let's talk about the giveaway. This, I think, is going to be an awesome one. So we're going to get into it a little bit because there's some things about these puffers. They're not for everybody. You can't just get a puffer and not know how to take care of it. So don't enter this giveaway unless you know how to take care of an Amazon puffer. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that today before we do the giveaway. Ooh, dude, super chats. That's awesome. We'll get to that in a bit, but thanks for the super chats and the people joining up for memberships. That's great. Thank you so much. Okay, the giveaway today is for an Amazon puffer. These are awesome. So what makes them awesome? First of all, they don't kill each other. I know, they're setting the bar's pretty low for puffers, right? They don't wipe each other out. Most puffers, you can have one per tank. If you're lucky, you might get away with more than one, but probably not long term. They just are very territorial, and they will straight up murder each other. But not these. These are gregarious. These are a community-minded puffer. They're good citizens. They get along well. Now, they have a hierarchy, and if you're going to have a lot of them, the more the merrier. That way any aggression is spread out, kind of cichlid style. But you can keep a big group of them together. What is more, and this is also very unusual for puffers, is I know of people that have kept them long-term in community aquariums with mixed species. I haven't done it myself. I don't know that I would recommend it, but it can be done. I've seen it done. I've had close friends do it. And for years, not had a problem. So it can totally be done. I've never tried it. So just from what I know of puffers, it makes me really like cautious to do that. But people do it and it works for them. So not only can you keep them together, multiple Amazon puffers together in an aquarium, which is unusual for puffers, but it seems like you can keep them in community aquariums with mixed species. Although I haven't tried it yet, not mostly because I'm nervous, all right? But I've seen it done. So that's pretty cool. The other thing is they don't get too big. If you ever find one way over 3 inches, that's exceptional. Now the record is like 5 inches, but that's literally the world record. And I think that was a wild fish. I think it was probably 50 years old or something. I don't know. But, you know, around 3 inches, maybe 4 inches is what you can expect. So they're a manageable size. They have all the goofy behavior of puffers. They're clowns. They're personable. They get to know their owner. They're a true wet pet. And you can keep a whole flock of them instead of just, you know, one Maboo or one Fahaka or one dragon puffer or one figure eight or green spotted or whatever. Speaking of figure eight and green spotted, the other thing about these, which is awesome, is they're not brackish water species. They're true freshwater species. So unlike figure eights and spotted puffers and some of the others, where you kind of have to think, oh, do I have to put salt in the water long term? These you definitely don't, because they are pure fresh water. So that's pretty cool. So all that makes them pretty awesome fish. The other thing is they're easy to feed. Ours take Vibrabites, Hikari Vibrabites. Now we also feed them live snails, we feed them frozen foods, bloodworms, frozen mysis shrimp, things like that, meaty foods. But they will take dry prepared foods. It can take a little time, but they will do it. And the other thing that they will do is they'll learn to eat gel foods that have been infused with oyster shell. So you can get oyster shell, crushed oyster shell, at any livestock supply store. They sell it for chicken feed, grit for chickens, calcium and grit and stuff. You can whip up some Repashy or other gel food, mix that in, and now when the puffers eat that gel food, they're chomping down on these little bits of oyster shell, and it helps wear down their beak. Which brings me to the biggest thing you need to be aware of with these puffers. Their beak grows continuously. So this is a species which I've never seen them not need a beak trim eventually. They're eventually going to need you to trim their teeth. Now, you can do that. We have a video on our channel of how to do it. We give you the exact doses of clove oil mixed with water that we use. We show you the whole process. Johnny did it all live. Not live. Johnny did it all on video. I guess it's not live. And so, you know, check that video out. See if that's something you're comfortable doing, because eventually you're going to need to do it. This is the one thing that I think makes these slightly less desirable than something like a Congo spotted puffer. Because the Congo spotted puffers, of all the ones I've had for as long as I've had them, I've never had to trim their teeth. Pea puffers, same thing, never had to trim their teeth. So that's the one thing about the Amazon puffer that you really need to be aware of. Now, I do want to show you where you can get more information about these. So, oh, I'm on the screen already. I was about to switch to the screen, but apparently you saw me scroll there. So if you go to our website and go down to the bottom, view previous newsletters, I have this massive article here on a focus on Amazon puffers from September 2022. And this goes through, okay, you have to get through like the updates on the building the store and all that stuff. But then we get to this, which is a nice article, very in-depth about Amazon puffers. So I would encourage you to go there and read about that if you don't know anything about Amazon puffers. But if you know about them and you're like, yeah, I can provide a good home and stuff, then yeah, I would encourage you to enter the giveaway. They're awesome fish. I'll give you the giveaway entry password in just a second. But before that, there's one other thing, is we released a video on Amazon puffers here at the Dance Fish YouTube channel a little while ago. It's got to be over a year now, but we went in depth on that too. So if one of the moderators wouldn't mind linking that in the chat, that's another place you can find information on them. So make sure you're comfortable with eventually having to trim a beak. And if that's true and you think you can provide a good home for these guys, they make amazing, amazing, kind of really personable, dog-like in a way. I mean, they're not a dog. A dog is its own thing, but kind of like that. They're friendly. They interact with you, all that. For a fish, they're pretty dog-like. They make amazing pets if you can provide the proper home for them. And if you think you can, enter hashtag puffer in the chat. That's hashtag PUFFER. Pardon me. No spaces, caps don't matter. And that will enter you into the giveaway. Woo, gotta get a drink. Okay, looks like it's working for folks. Awesome. In that case, we'll click away and let folks do their entries. See how we're doing here. There's 265 viewers. Not too bad at all. Thanks for being here, everybody. Okay, we're going to get to your questions and comments, but before we do, we want to thank everyone who is throwing money at us and joining the YouTube channel and all that schmash. So Kendall, thank you for joining up. Welcome. You are now a Danny-O or Danny-Onella. As is JR. Welcome, JR. Geek Boy. Speaking of Johnny, he should go to the Clash this year. Geek Boy throwing down a super chat to help fund Johnny's trip to the Keystone Clash in Pennsylvania. Big kind of fish convention that happens in the fall. I believe it's the fall, right? Yeah, September, October, November? October? Anyway. So everyone is throwing money at that cause because they want to meet Johnny. And so thank you, Geek Boy, for doing that. Leo's Aquariums and Reptiles. When are you guys getting more betta macrostoma, or will you ever carry ambush puffers? Sorry, my voice is on the fritz today. So I don't know when I'll bring in betta macrostoma. I'm just scared to death, honestly. There is a young lady who breeds fish. I believe she's from upstate New York, who bred some and had them at the Keystone Clash last year. And I wanted to buy them all from her, but I think she sold them. Oh, what is her name? Hang on, I think I can find it here. Let's see. If I can get you sent there. Farrell's Fishes. That's right, Farrell's Fish. They had some that they had bred and raised. And so that's what I'd like to do, is buy them from a breeder. I'm pretty wary of bringing in wild-sourced macrostoma, just because the expense is so high, and the first 2 weeks after import are just critical for them. So I'm a little leery of doing that. But that is a fish I would like to bring in if I could find the right supplier and know that I could do it safely. And ambush puffers, I love them. I've got one here that's a long-term pet. Her name is Mouth. She's a dragon puffer. They're pretty much all mouth. They're just a big mouth. She just eats. That's what she does. And I really like them. The problem with the ambush puffers is I don't have a setup for them. This warehouse is full of 75-gallon and 40-gallon breeder aquariums. And I can't, for those ambush puffers, you can only have one per tank. One fish per tank. They'll eat everything else. And so I can't really bring in the quantities I would need to import them and dedicate that many 40-gallon aquariums to an individual fish. Even if I divided them and had like in half and had, 2 per tank, still it doesn't monetarily justify the tank space. So that's something I would like to do someday. I just don't have the setup for it now. And there's so many things that I need to take care of that building a custom setup just for fish like that is pretty far down the road. But I'd like to. I sure like them myself. Michael! Clash Fund. Hey, thank you, Michael, so much. Always appreciated. Never required, but we like the super chats. Peplin Creek. Hey, Peplin, good to hear from you. I hope you're doing awesome. 2 days notice. Thanks, Dan. I know. We got this stream built on Monday, believe it or not. Usually it's like the day before on a good day and the day of sometimes. So, yep. Now, it's always this time. It's always Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, unless I've announced differently, or if I can't make it for some weird reason, like I'm in the hospital or there's an import landing and I have to take care of it. Rarely happens. But if that were to happen, I would put a notice out on the community so that people are aware. I'm never going to just ghost you. Again, unless I like get hit by the car and am in a coma. Jody P gifted 5 memberships. Jody, thank you for your continued support. We really, really appreciate you. And Spinster Sister, Aquashella LA Fund. Ooh, well, thank you for the super chat. I don't know if we're going to be able to fund more than one trip. They're pricey. But I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Okay, with that, thanks again to the moderators for being here, volunteering their time to make this chat work. We appreciate you. Okay, I think I got them all. If I missed you, I'm really sorry. That means chat won't let me scroll up enough, but I think I got it all. Okay. With that, let's see, how we doing here? We have 287 folks. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the giveaway right now. There are 123 entries, which gives you pretty good odds. And the winner is Van Dusen. Van Dusen, you have won. You have 2 minutes to leave a comment in chat and let us know that you're here. Did I do that live? Hopefully I did. There it is, in case I wasn't on that screen. You have 2 minutes to chime in and let us know that you're here. If you don't chime in within 2 minutes of me drawing your name, you forfeit your winnings and we will draw somebody else. So every now and then, I like to do the drawing early because I want to reward people that are here from the beginning, that enjoy the chat and are not just here hoping to win something, right? There are folks, I think, that show up in the last 10 minutes every week, enter the giveaway real quick and see if they win something. That's fine. I don't begrudge that. I might do that too if I was them. But I want to sometimes reward the folks that are here, the diehards, right? The ride or dies that are here the whole stream or show up early and aren't just tuning in at the end in the hopes of winning something free. So that's why I do that occasionally. Oh, there it is. Van Dusen chimed in 43 seconds. That's pretty good. That's quick. You're on the spot with that one. Well, Van Dusen, thank you for participating. In order to finalize your winnings, we need you to send us an email, hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO@dansfish.com. We need your first name, your last name, and your shipping address so we can get all that arranged with you. We'll select a date with you and send those over. So congrats. Congrats on winning an Amazon puffer. Really, really awesome fish, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. They're just amazing. It's kind of cool around here when you get to walk around, look at aquariums, and just stop and observe a random species because it's doing something cool. And Amazon puffers are always doing something cool, so they get stopped at frequently. All right, Peplin Creek says, "Rip Get Gills" with a super chat. Yeah, so Get Gills, we've decided to shut Get Gills down. The reason we started that was so that hobbyists would have a place to sell their fish, and it was a stopgap for me, a place where I could sell my stuff as well, before we had the dansfish.com website, going. However, what's happened is Get Gills takes quite a bit of time. We have to code it. We have to keep up with all the database requirements. There's quite a bit of maintenance and things, and it's not having enough of an impact, I don't think, as a service to the community to justify it forever and ever. And so Jonathan and I were talking, we're like, here's the amount of activity on here. Here's how long it takes to keep it up every month. Here's the costs and everything. And we were like, yeah, it doesn't seem like something that the community wants bad enough to keep spending that much time, that much money on it. So that's why that's going away. I just want to be able to focus on what is now kind of our core business, since we would have, we wouldn't have shut it down if there was a bunch of participation, and there's a decent amount, but not enough to justify it. So thanks to everyone that has used it, and we appreciate you. And now we're just moving on. Okay, let's see here. The next thing we're gonna do today is the tartar sauce fun, says Spinster. Thank you, Spinster sister. Well, that's super generous. That's like $40 of super chats tonight. Spinster, that's amazing. Thank you. Much appreciated. Chef's kiss and all that. Okay, moving on, we're going to get to some cool things that are happening here at Dan's Fish. To do that, I have to get back to dansfish.com. Okay, and I'm going to click on newest listings and go over with you the new stuff. Okay, Tiger Teddies. Here's the big one, though. Virus-free pearl gouramis. We have another batch ready to go. For those that are unaware, pearl gouramis, dwarf gouramis, lots of gouramis, are riddled with iridovirus. It's not something you can treat. It's a virus that they're very susceptible to. And I have not brought pearl gouramis in for a long time, even though, look at that fish. One of my favorite fish ever, like an amazing centerpiece fish. Just stunning, peaceful, awesome, big enough to like see from across the room. Get about 5 inches or a little more. But I tried all the suppliers and I couldn't find any that didn't have the virus. A few months ago, I brought some in from a breeder in Europe and sat on them for a while. Usually, after a couple months, you'll see signs of iridovirus. You'll see lesions on the side of the fish and some other things. None of that happened. So we sent some off to a state diagnostic laboratory and had the doctors and PhDs and lab nerds there check them out. And they did not find any evidence of iridovirus, megalocytine virus, or mycobacterium. So thankfully, we have what we can, as confidently as you can say, is a virus-free strain of pearl gouramis. Now, they're $29.99 each, which is pricey. You can probably find pearl gouramis for around $10, maybe less some places. They're a mass-produced fish by the millions in the industry. The problem is they've all got the virus. The reason we had to pay more for these is, first, we brought them in from Europe, which is the most expensive place for us to source fish. Second, we had to do all the lab tests and screening and all that, all the diagnostics to make sure they were actually free of the virus. So I know they're pricey at $29.99, $30, but they're virus free. So that's the trade-off there. But I'm pretty excited about that. It's literally, I'm not kidding, taken years. That's not an exaggeration, folks, years for me to find a strain of pearl gouramis that I could sell to customers confidently. Okay, a few long fin snow white bushy nose. People have been requesting this forever. I've been hesitant because once fish's fins get too long, they can be harder to ship. But Johnny bred the Green Dragon long fins, and we were able to sell those, and everything went swimmingly. So we're trying a few other long fin pleco species to see if they're okay. Some Inca 50s, an amazing species of Epistogramma. Nisonai from Rio Ucayali, I think is how you say it. Probably not, but that's how I'm going to say it. And then, finally, Mormana Kapuru redback angelfish, the prettiest, perhaps the prettiest, a really good strain. I've seen so the ones we're selling right now are, how big are they? They're not full grown. They don't have the red yet. So they're at about 1.5 inches. But I've seen these from this breeder. I've seen this strain as adults. And this is a picture of this same strain as adults. They are stunning. In fact, you can watch some video of them too if you want. So really excited to have those back in stock. For a little while there, I couldn't get them. I could get them. There are some mass-produced farmed varieties out there that I can bring in, but they're not good. They're just not good. So to get them from the breeders that do an excellent job over in Europe, they've been out. So I'm really thrilled I could bring more in. And a decent number of them too. Not as many as I wanted. I didn't get as many as I ordered, but got some. Double red Cacatoides, a favorite and easy one to start with if you're new to Apistos. And if you're old to Apistos, so to speak, amazing color and just fun. Nostalgic for a lot of people. And then this. I'm excited to announce we did it. You guys have been asking for keyhole cichlids. We brought them in. There's a source in Germany. Aquarium Glaser had some. Again, from Germany, they're going to be more expensive, but the quality is going to be really good. So a peaceful, smallish, it doesn't get massive, manageable size as an adult cichlid. No big bright colors or anything, but a handsome looking fish that does really well in a community aquarium. Some more of the fancy sunrise hyphen platies. Let's see here. Was I able to get a better picture of these? I mean, that's a decent picture. I just can never quite capture them right. But this gives you an idea. They do have really nice fins. They do have nice oranges and yellows. They're a nice fish. The breeder does a great job with these. And this batch has been rock solid. This batch has been really, really healthy. Gold laser cories, albino pineapple high fins. Again, if you like fancy live bears, the quality on these is pretty darn good. Really nice fins. The same with these, the albino Vienna high fin cauliflower swordtails. I mean, look at them. And this is not an exaggeration. I took this picture, and I'm a horrible photographer. This is literally me with a camera stumbling along, and that's what they look like. They're just an absolutely stunning fish. Okay, then we get into some staples. Platinum rummy-nosed tetras. Got some more of those. These are one of the absolutely most popular fish we have here at Dan's Fish. And because they're like a rummy-nosed tetra, which is awesome, but with an extra sparkle. They have a lot of iridescence on them. A lot more than your normal wild type rummy nose. Some CW14s, the red lasers. That's a cool one. Duplicarius, by the way, these Duplicarius were bred and raised by a hobbyist here in the United States. So they're really good quality, really healthy. Albino threadfin acaras, it's hard to go wrong with these. I mean, look at those fish. That's absolutely stunning. Now, when you get them, they're going to look more like this because they'll be juveniles, right? They're going to be, what, 0.75 to probably around 1 inch, the biggest ones in that batch. So that is what you're going to get is juveniles. But with some patience, they're going to develop into really nice, stunning fish. And again, threadfin acaras are great. They're peaceful. They're good substrate tenders. They turn your substrate. They do well in community aquariums, and they're generally quite hardy. Ember tetras, Lamprichthys tanganicanus. If you know me, you know I'm a killifish freak, and we have some of this amazing killifish available. These are lampi from Lake Tanganyika. We think of Lake Tanganyika as a place for like cichlids, right? Lamprologus, Neolamprologus, Julitochromis, all those things. Leucochromis. But they also have killifish there, and this one is found nowhere else. It's a fairly large fish. It can get up to around 5 inches, and it is a robin's egg blue on yellow, stunning, amazing animal. Ours are small, be aware of that, but they ship really well at that small size. Some more of the solid yellow hyphen variatus. This platy is great. It's one of the few that's actually solid yellow, and they breed true. We've had all kinds of babies from these, and they are also solid yellow. So again, if you're into the fancy live bears, our fancy live bears aren't cheap, but that's because we're getting them from a really high quality source. Orange Venezuelan cories, it's like, okay, I think Corydor's Equus is prettier, but these are a lot less, and they have a lot of nice orange on them. They're a really nice looking fish. So for the price, it's like, oh, I don't want to spend 80 bucks a piece for Equus. I get it. I mean, Equus are awesome, but I get it. Orange Venezuelan Corys, poor man's Equus, let's put it that way. Zebra Loaches doing awesome. Some Spore and Burgeye, some Emiadii, and some Blue Glarus Wareye. Now, Blue Glarus Wareye, I need to get a picture of that's better. This is a quick cell phone picture. I need to get the fancy camera and actually get a nice picture. So, okay, Blue Glarus are special no matter what. They're the king of killifish. They're big, they're gorgeous, absolutely stunners. But Wareye is really special because the Wareye location in Nigeria is the home of a large petrochemical industry. And these were collected, they first appeared in the auctions at the American Killifish Association conventions back in the early 90s. It might have been 1990, somewhere around there. So they've been around a while, but they haven't been bringing them in for quite a while because their habitat's been destroyed. All the petrochemical stuff going on there has wiped out their habitat there in Wari. So according to what I read on the American Killifish Association a few days ago, there's almost 100% probability this fish no longer exists in the wild. So because of that, it's a pretty special fish. It's as beautiful and wonderful as your typical Blue Glarus, but by keeping and breeding these and distributing them, we're actually helping, preserve a population that is no longer extant in the wild as far as anyone knows. So that's the story on those. Vividatum funge, if you look at that, and then you look up here in my logo, you'll see some similarities, and that's because the silhouette of this picture of this fish is what I used to create the logo here. So the logo is a silhouette of this exact fish, this exact picture. Why I like the funge population is because they get bigger than most vivitatums, so they're easier to appreciate their beauty, and their beauty is not subtle. The spots and patterns on them are bold and easy to see. Panda Uaru. These are Panda Uaru, and they're one of the only Panda Uaru that have been bred and raised in the United States. They're on the lists from the wild all the time, but importing Panda Uaru from the wild is analogous to importing Altum Angels from the wild. They're available. The exporters will sell them to you all day long. They'll be happy to do that. But the odds that they transition well to your aquariums and breed for you and stuff are fairly slim. If you can source them from hobbyist bred in the United States and they didn't go through the import, they're used to aquariums, they were bred and raised in aquariums, you're going to have a lot better chance of success. So I'm really thrilled to have these available. And at $99.99, at $100 a piece, I honestly think that's a steal. Because if you try importing them, you might pay less. You might not, though. They're pricey if you import them. But you might pay less. But you're going to have a lot of losses. And these, I think, are going to do awesome for you. Some more Melanitania rubrivittata, hobbyist bred and raised here in the United States. Thanks to Gary Lang for letting us use his amazing picture. The fish you're going to be getting don't look quite like this. They're small. They're about an inch, so they still have some coloring up to do. Magillagobes adii, one of the coolest gobies. This is they call it a shell-dwelling goby because it lives in the Sulawesi lakes and lives in like the rabbit snail shells and stuff. That's where they kind of hang out and spawn. Now, they're not like a like a Lake Tanganyikan shell dweller where they're in the shells all the time, but when they want to spawn, that's what they use. They don't necessarily make permanent homes out of them, though. Blue Axelrod rasboras, a really nice healthy batch. Kind of the tail end of that batch, so there's only a few available, but they're doing awesome for us. Santa Maria Endlers, the magenta mystery snail, bred and raised here in the USA. Montezuma swordtails, just a few more sexy now. So we have a few more trios to sell. One more, it looks like. And we're almost done here. A few Ameca splendens, the butterfly split fin. An amazing Goodeid that does fine in normal aquarium temperatures, which makes them easier to keep. A lot of Goodeids, if you're going to keep them long term, you have to keep them down in the 60s, or they might burn out on the breeding, they might go infertile, you might get skewed sexes. This does fine at normal aquarium temperatures. A few more, the copper sailfin mollies. These are stunning, and they've been one of the most popular of the sailfin varieties. People who have got them, if you've got them, what do you think? All the feedback I've heard has been that people love them. But if anyone in the chat has got some, please let the chat know what you thought of them, because they're a different color. They're not gold, they're not silver, they're not platinum, whatever. They really are a coppery color. Then a couple more. The West Java Pea Puffer, we only have a few more available. This is what we ordered was pea puffers. What we got sent were these, and they look just a little different than your normal pea puffers. Different pattern, different iridescence. So we asked the exporter where they got them from, and they said they were collected in West Java, but they weren't willing to give us any more information than that. So they're not from India, they're from West Java, and so we don't know if they're the same species as your standard pea puffer or not. So we're calling them pea puffer West Java just to differentiate. Some Limia perugiae, the most active, high energy of the Limias, like all movement all the time. Absolutely caffeinated all the time. And stunning colors. Lemon yellow margined with black, and what I have trouble picking up with the camera is the brilliant mirror iridescence on the scale. So you can kind of get a tiny inkling of it there. Yeah, I don't think I have a picture that shows it. It's just really hard for a camera to pick that up. Just a few more things. I know there's a lot. We've got a lot available that's coming down the pike here. Cherry spot bulus. I literally took this picture yesterday, I believe it was, or the day before, this week. I literally took this picture this week. Before that, this is what they looked like. We got them in as juveniles. Now they're colored up and they look like these. Now, if you're going to get trophies, you need to get them in large numbers, and you need to keep pretty much only them in an aquarium. They take a dedicated tank. You can put some other fish in there. You could put like Synodontis catfish in there, maybe some armored catfish like hoplos or plecos. You could do like giant danios or rainbow fish, something really active and fast. But lots of things will get shredded by these guys, and they will shred themselves if they're not kept in adequate numbers. So I wouldn't keep more than like, I don't know, personally a dozen or so. But they're amazing. And if you've never done it, once in your life, set up a Tropheus tank. A dedicated Tropheus tank is a sight to behold. Some albino hoplo catfish. Just as peaceful, and so hoplos are awesome. Here's the thing with hoplos. They're super peaceful, so you can keep them in an aquarium with other peaceful fish. As long as they're not small enough for the hoplo to just suck it down and eat it, they're not going to bother it. They're chill, but they're also super tough. So you can keep them in tanks with, delicate or, not tough, not assertive community fish. But they're tough enough that you could also keep them with fairly aggressive fish, like appropriately sized Central American cichlids, for example. So they're an amazing fish that is peaceful and friendly, but tough. They can hold their own. So they can go with so many tanks. And I think the albinos, I like the regular hoplos just fine, but I like the albinos. Look at those little ones snuggling on a leaf. Oh, and something else that's cool about hoplos is they're a bubble nest builder. They build a bubble nest like a betta, believe it or not. You don't think of that with most catfish, but there's a few that do, and this is one of them. Albino redhead Tapajos geophagus. I took this picture this week, I believe. It might have been last week, but this is literally what they're looking like right now. They're starting to get their color. There's a few that don't have their color yet. Females don't have as much color for sure. But that's a stunner. We have the regular redhead tapajos coming up as well. I don't know if they're available this moment, but we're hoping to have some soon. And then these, I finally got a picture that does these guys justice. This is another picture that I got. I think it was this week. It might have been late last week. The days blur together when you're having as much fun as I'm having here at Dan's Fish. But these are so stunning. So regular gold sailfin mollies are awesome. They're beautiful. But the breeder of this strain is really carefully worked the strain for a while. And what you end up with is white platinum gold with yellow gold highlights, or yellow gold with platinum highlights. So they come in both. Amazingly extended dorsal fins and a nice lyre tail. Check that one out. Like for a female, that's awesome. And then here's another male. This one is recovering from a fin injury, but this shows you what the more orange phase, or more gold phase, yellow gold phase ones look like, as opposed to the platinum. This is the best picture I could get before, but it didn't do them justice. So these are the older pictures, but now we've got, finally I was like, I got it. They really do look this good. They're stunning. This breeder does such a good job. Some leopard tenopomas, some clown plecos, and the list goes on, but we'll stop there because I've been droning on for, 40 minutes. So a lot of really neat stuff available on the channel. So there's some highlights. The keyhole cichlids, really cool if you've never tried them. Don't let their non-flashiness fool you. That's a cool fish. Okay. With that, let's get back to this thing. 296 folks here. I wonder if I drone people right off the chat. It's possible. It's possible. Okay. Kayla's Reptiles and Aquatics, been a member for 28 months. That's over 2 years. That's pretty good. Thanks, Bob. So excited being a part of all this growth and success. Hey, we appreciate you, Bob. Thanks for all your support. For those that don't know, Bob has been a huge supporter both on the scene and behind the scenes. We appreciate you. Beto Great Lakes, talking of rare, looking for Xenotoka dodroi. Well, I think we've got you covered. Xenotoka, here they are. We have 11 of them, 11 pairs of Xenotoka dodroi, red-tailed Gudayat. And there's the females. This is a colony that just keeps producing babies and babies and babies. They're doing fine at 79 degrees. We've had them doing fine long-term at 79 degrees, breeding several generations, no loss of fertility, no skewed sex ratios. So I think you could keep them easily instead of having to lower the temperature. At least that's been my experience. Sarah M., first time joining the live stream, best part of my day so far. Hello, everyone. Well, hey, Sarah, glad we could brighten your day. Thanks for being here, and welcome to the stream. Brett Baker, what would you add? Must be blue. Okay, you want something blue to a 29 with 6 panda cories, a cherry shrimp colony, a hillstream loach, 6 amanos and snails. Well, I was going to say blue velvet tiger barbs, but I think they would eat all your shrimp. I mean, the super blue carry tetra is pretty amazing. I mean, you want real blue. Yeah, I would go with that. Super blue carry tetra. Check these out. So here's what they look like when they first come in and they're kind of settling in. And then when they grow up, they turn blue, man. Blue, blue, blue. So that's an amazing one. Super. I mean, I'm a horrible photographer, and I still was able to show you some of the blue. So that's probably the one I would recommend, because I'm just, when you say I want blue, I mean, you probably want blue, and those are blue. So that's what I would do. Let's see, what else do you have on there? If I had any, the blue flash Epistogram agazzizii would be another one that's real blue. But yeah, super blues. That's my thought. I mean, there's also some nice blue calico platies. Let's see here. Calico. See if I can find them. Yeah. These guys, but they also have quite a bit of orange on them. Whereas, I mean, they're blue. And by the way, my pictures, you can see the blue iridescence there, but cameras don't pick up iridescence. I'm here to tell you, they've got a lot of blue iridescence. You just don't see it as well. You can kind of see it on that one. But even more blue, I think. I think the super blues are the right answer. Nate's Fish Tank. Dan is the superior online fish store, speaking from experience. Well, thanks, Nate. We try really hard. I have to sometimes... So part of my job is focusing on the problems, right? And seeing if we can fix them and make them better. That's part of my job. So sometimes I fixate on the problems too much. And, you know, that's one reason it's kind of cool every week to do the shipping report and tell you, hey, we're at 99% success. Getting the fish to the customers alive and healthy over the last 12 months rolling, that's pretty cool. That statistics help because you look at them and you realize, yes, I'm dealing with all the problems, but that's 1%. like everything's going well. Like all the work's paying off. We really are doing a good job. So yeah, thanks, Nate, for noticing, and we appreciate the cheerleading. Brian, hi everyone, I'm lurking. Keep up the good work. Hey, hail the Lurker Nation. We still love you. W Robo, making it hard to wait till spring to order. And hang on, I gotta reload here. Oh, hopefully I can get back to that. The browser just crashed. Again. It's done that twice so far this stream. It didn't do that at all last stream. And Matt and I were talking about it. Matt's kind of a techie. And we don't know for sure, but we're like, I think maybe it's something between YouTube and the browsers. It does it on Google Chrome. It does it on Firefox. I still need to try and see if it does it when I don't use Nightbot. But I used Nightbot last week and it did not do it. But some people thought maybe Nightbot's the culprit. So I haven't explored that yet. Anyway, you're wanting to fill some summer subs? Summer tubs, W Robo. Yeah, awesome. That's always fun. Summer tubbing. Like Medaka rice fish are awesome for that. Japanese rice fish. Paradise fish are great for that if it's the Operculus species. Some paradise fish are tropical, so just be aware of that. But a lot of the species come from temperate climates and do great. Golden white clouds would do great. There's all kinds of awesome options for summer tubbing. So yeah, I'm glad you're excited. You gotta have something to look forward to in life, right? Yeah, might as well be summer tubbing. Okay, I'm gonna scroll up as far as I can, which is not very far because chat just jumped. As far as I see, here's what happens. So I scroll up, and it stops me right there. I can't go above that. So if you had a question or comment that you left above Nate's Fish Tank saying, Dan is the superior online fish store, speaking from experience. Thanks again, Nate. If you left it above that and I have not responded to your question or comment, that means that it got cut off. I can't get up there to see it. So feel free to list it down below and I'll try to get to it as I go through the chat here and get to your questions and comments. Whip's World. Hey, Whip, good to hear from you. Have you found albino? Okay, there it is. I had to find my chapstick real quick. Threadfin and Car have genetic issues as they get older. A fairly well-known YouTuber said his 5 all dropped off after starting off strong, but fell apart in a year or so. So Whip, I always sell them before they get old on me. I personally have never kept them that long, so I don't know. I don't think so. I don't see any signs of any issues like that. But I don't know. So let's put it out to the chat. Anyone here, have you kept albino threadfin acaras? And once they matured or got a year or more, did they just start falling off for you? I do know Tom from TM Aquatics has some he got for me a while ago. And the last I saw, they were still doing great. He still had them all and they were big and beautiful. And I think that was over a year. But I don't have a big sample size. I do know, though, that we in this fish hobby and the industry side as well are really bad at assigning causes of death to fish without actually knowing what they are. And after working with state diagnostic laboratories and setting up our own laboratory here and working with veterinarians and things, I just know that to be a fact. Most of the things we think are killing our fish probably aren't. I used to think I knew what was killing fish. I used to be in that boat. And then we started working with veterinarians and I was like, oh, I know nothing, Jon Snow. And then I thought, oh, we're getting to the bottom of some things. And then we started working with state diagnostic labs. And we're like, oh, we know nothing, Jon Snow. And now we have our own diagnostic lab. And the amount we don't know is in stark relief right now. If fish have a problem, sometimes we play this game where we're like, what do you think it is? What do you think it is? And we all guess what it is. And then the lab does its thing. It's like, nope, we're wrong. So correlation being thought of as causation is one of the major, I don't want to say problems, is commonplace in the hobby. So, you know, who knows if that was it. But let's see if people comment and let us know. Holy cow, they keep coming in. People are still working the super chats and the memberships. That's awesome. Any Fish Will Do gifted a Dance Fish membership. Thank you. Gifting memberships is one of the best ways to support us. Growing those memberships, besides making a fun community, also, you know, brings in revenue, monthly recurring revenue that helps our business. So it's appreciated. Is it Beto or is it Beto? Beto? Great Lakes. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat and the fun emoji. Not Stefan, aka Stephen P 2003 Aquatics. To the clash, Johnny, giddy up. Thank you. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, we're gonna get him there. I mean, it's just gonna happen. Lisa G, coming back to the hobby after 20 plus years, what is your recommendation on fish to start with to work my way up to keeping pea puffers and shell dwellers not together? If you read about pea puffers, I almost say you could start with pea puffers if you have fish experience. So if you know the basics of the nitrogen cycle, and if you know how to get a tank up and running before you get fish in it, such that by the time you put the pea puffers in there, it'll have stable parameters, then I personally don't see a reason you couldn't start with pea puffers. As long as you source them from somewhere that's treated them well, the supply chain was careful with them, and they've been dewormed and stuff. I don't see any reason not to start with them. They're pretty tough fish. Shell dwellers also pretty tough fish. So now, if you're like, I'm not confident that I know how to set up a tank and have steady parameters, not have ammonia spikes and all that, then man, there's a lot of really hardy, inexpensive fish you could start. White clouds are one of the best. There's a reason they're so beloved over the decades and so commonplace. So white clouds are great. Zebra danios are awesome. A lot of your less expensive tetras, black neon tetras, serpe tetras. Serpe tetras are nippy, but they're hardy. Those kinds of fish, I think, are good ones to start with. If you're like, yeah, I really need to just get back in shape here. Cherry barbs, awesome, beautiful, hardy. There's lots of options, but those are some to get you started. And welcome back to the hobby. That's exciting. Zen Cory Cats, no way. I listened to you tell us about new fish all night. Oh, okay, good. I'm glad to hear it, Zen Cory Cats. Neo Veritas 7. New Truth 7. Can you bring in Elydia furcidans? I can. Whenever I can, I do. We have a breeder up in Montana, actually, that breeds them for us. But the trout godaid, Elydian furcidans, is not a very prolific breeder. They're fairly seasonal, and when they have babies, they drop only a few at a time. Now, the babies are massive and really well developed and easy to raise up because they're already huge and ready to go. But because they're big, the female can't carry very many. So they don't have a lot, they don't birth a lot of pups, as they're called. So there just isn't that much supply. I've also once or maybe twice been able to bring them in from Europe, but same thing. No one's breeding trout godaids in massive quantities. They're seasonal and they're not very fecund. Reformed, what should I do if I have too many juvenile electric blue caras? 1 inch, 200-ish. My local market seems saturated. Well, let's see, I think I would say I would buy them from you, but I think that we actually have quite a few. Okay, let's see. How many do we have? We've got 33. I think there might be some more that aren't listed yet. Would you, Reformed, send us an email. hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO at dansfish.com. Let us know how many you've got and what size they are. I know you did in the comment, but do that in the email too, so we don't remember every detail from the chat. Let's put it that way. And Johnny will let you know if we need more or not. But if we need them, be happy to get them from you. Lisa Matthews, the artiste. Will you get more Betta simplex soon? I don't know. I think we might have a few more to list. I mean, I've had those for months. And I've sold maybe 1 or 2 a month. Now, part of that is, okay, so something I don't always know is part of that is I didn't have a great picture of them for a while. So part of being an online store is you need good pictures or people aren't going to be excited about your fish. And in their defense, we did not have a good picture till fairly recently, and they started to sell a little better. But I've done a lot of wild type bettas. We had Betta simorum, for example. Let me show you this fish. This thing is awesome. Okay, here they are. Betta simorum. This is the picture we had. Look at that fish. Beautiful, is that emerald? Iridescence. And it's even prettier than that in person, but I was able to get the color. Look at that. That is beautiful. Iridescence didn't come through on this one. That might be a female anyway. But, and it's $21.99. Not expensive for this fish. Not expensive at all. And they didn't sell very well. And I've had that experience over and over again with wild type bettas. So there's just not that much demand for them, which means it's hard for me to bring them in often because it really hurts the business if I bring a fish in and it just sits for months. It's like any other business, I guess. The shelf space, if you will, the space at the table of your restaurant is valuable, and if the stuff in there isn't moving, it's bad for business. So, yes, I'll bring some more in at some point, but it's going to be quite a while. Unless, if you add them to your wish list, add them to your wish list here. If you just click add to wish list, and you'll get an email notification automatically the moment they're listed for sale again. So if we have a few left, then when they're relisted, you'll get notified and you might have a chance to get them from the current batch, which is a very good batch. Can I add hummingbird tetras, says JR, with guppies and rummy-nosed rasbora? I can't find much on these tetras. I'm thinking through this one, and I guess it depends on a couple things. If they come in full grown, they're not a big fish, and often they come in at like 1/4 to 1/2 inch, really tiny. That's very common. But they do get, you know, when they're full grown, then they might just be okay with rummy-nosed rasboras and guppies. Yeah, but I would definitely not do that if they were not full grown. They're not an aggressive fish. I mean, they'll come up and beg for food, and once they get settled in and get to know you, they'll be out. You'll see them and stuff. But they aren't like really assertive like other fish at feeding time. They're not going to appreciate fish that follow them around and are real curious and are in their face all the time, which guppies might do, at least at first. But often guppies like do that for a bit and then they're like, okay, and kind of stop after a few days once they get to know things. Especially if there's several guppies in the tank and they can do that to each other, and they don't do that as much to the other fish in that tank. So I think it could be done if you had full-grown ones. I would have a plan B though, in case the guppies annoyed the hummingbird tetras and you needed to separate them. The rummy-nosed rasboras I don't think would annoy them. Stephen P, 2003 Aquatics. This one is not for Johnny. Geez, Stephen, thank you so much. Very generous of you. We appreciate that super chat. And Geek Boy, raining memberships today. Geek Boy has gifted 5 Dancefish memberships. Charles, thank you. My best to you and Stephanie. Hope you're doing awesome. Okay. Looking for the next one. Where was I at in all this? Okay, don't jump chat. There it is. Leo's Aquariums and Reptiles. When will my epistogramma Nisanai Rio Ukayali? So close. Sorry, Leo. When that happens, when the browser crashes, take 3 tonight, then I think, oh no, I can scroll up and see them. I thought maybe it would, yeah, okay, it did cut it off. Shoot, I'm sorry, I can't see your question. Would you repost it? Anyone that posted a question or comment above and just got cut off, if you posted it above, to the clash, Johnny Giddy Up, then I can't see it. So repost it, please. Our pagoda, I said pagoda snails in the future. Yeah, probably. I haven't looked to make sure they're okay in my area, but I think they are, and I think they're awfully cool. Oh, I was already on that screen. I think they're really cool with their spikes. So that's a pretty awesome looking snail. I have to double check though and make sure that they're legal in my state and all that, but I think they will be. Yeah. And truthfully, I know nothing about them other than they look cool. I'd have to make sure I can care for them and all that, but generally a snail, I can do a snail usually. Okay, Spinster, what product do you use to deworm pea puffers? I have peas that seem a tiny bit too tapered. Well, we're trying to figure out what the best product is right now, and it depends on the kind of worm they have. So I don't know exactly how to answer that, but the ones that are commonly available and might work and might not are flubendazole, which is water soluble, levamisole, and praziquantel, which we use in combination with metronidazole. Now, I'm not a veterinarian, so I can't give you actual medical advice, but those are some of the things that are commonly used in the hobby. So those are things you could try. Herrimon, when do you get the red tail spiny eels? Oh, I wish I could tell you. like yesterday, I hope. So I know one place I can get them. There's one place I know of in Europe that breeds those. They don't breed many, and I literally buy them out every time they have a spawn. So as soon as they have another spawn, I will get them and bring them in and I'll buy the entire thing and list them for you. But there's a lot less supply than demand on that fish. It's hard to get. Monsterfish Gal, thank you for the super chat. Oh yeah, thanking Steven. Yes, thanks mods for thanking the folks when they help us out. Appreciate that. What's this membership you speak of, says Manny. Well, you can be a member here at this YouTube channel, a member of the Dan's Fish channel, part of the Fishmonger crew, and you could become a Daniel or Danielella. So to do that, you just go to the channel. If you go to YouTube and go to my channel, you can click join, and then you'll join and become a member. Now, I want to be perfectly frank that we do a few small things for the members when we can, but this isn't yet the type of thing where it's like, ooh, I'm going to pay $4 or $5, whatever it is a month, and I'm going to get all this extra stuff. Right now, people are supporting us because they like what we do and they want to support us, and they aren't expecting much in return. And they're not getting much in return. But there's a few things, like when we release videos, often we'll release them to the members first. So the members get a heads up on the videos and get to see them first. And sometimes that's valuable, especially when the when the videos show fish that are newly listed for sale. So the members can kind of see what they actually look like in the tanks before anyone else and make an informed buying decision. A lot of the stuff we list sells really fast. And so this gives members a chance to buy what they want, better informed, with a better chance of getting it before it runs out. So there's things like that. Something I'll often do, I did not do this time because I wasn't sure until just a few hours ago how many new fish we would be listing. But something I often do is if I know new fish are coming out, it's not even often. Something I intend to do more often, I do sometimes, is put a message out on the community post for members only and let them know, hey, red-tailed eels are going to be available tomorrow, for example, if that was something that we had available. Because I know a lot of people want that fish, and I know most people that want it don't get it before it sells out. So I try to give members little perks like that. But it's not a ton. It's mostly people support us because they just want this to succeed and they like what we're doing. Speaking of support, Kelly Foreman has jumped in with 5 Dan's Fish memberships. Thank you so much, Kelly. I really hope you're doing well. And Geek Boy, if I didn't say thanks again for your 5 memberships. I did earlier, but I can't remember. Okay, yeah, that was the latest one, so I didn't miss it. Okay, back to questions and comments. Matt Hendricks, speaking of wild bettas, I have a pair of betta rubra. Any breeding tips for this mouth brooder? Do I need to separate at some point? Thanks. Okay, the easiest way to breed those, and that's one I bred and raised and had really good luck with. The easiest thing is make sure half of the aquarium is absolutely choked with Java moss. Choked, top to bottom. Not stem to stern, but half of it top to bottom. Then you don't have to separate anyone, and you don't even have to separate the babies. So they'll spawn when they want. They have plenty of cover so they can get away from each other when they want, and there's plenty of cover for the babies to hide in. Once you suspect there might be babies, just feed live baby brine shrimp a couple times a day, and I almost guarantee you're going to have tons of babies in short order. They're, in my experience, very easy to raise. They breed like rabbits, and they're pretty, yeah, the babies are big and well formed when the male spits them, and so they're easy to raise. So go for it, man. For a breeding project, that's an awesome one. And that is a wild type betta that I would like to buy. So if you do breed them and get a decent number, there's a few that I think are in demand that I'd like to buy. That's one of them. Rubra, Chinoides, alba marginata, macrostoma. maybe cochina. And then bubble nest builders like Mahachiensis, Embellus, Sigmorum, I can't say it, but you know the one I'm talking about. I can't say that right now. Smargadina, that's it. Is it Smargadina? Something like that. New friends. When would you move baby corridors to the main tank? Also has bushy nose plecos, mollies, green fire tetras. Well, since there's mollies in there, I'd wait till they were decent sized, like close to maybe 3/4 of an inch, something like that. You want to make sure they're too big for the mollies to eat, and then be a little bigger than that as well. Mollies are boisterous and curious, so. Okay, continuing down the chat here, how are we doing? 252 folks here. Thanks for being here, everybody. No, I did. That's a little surprising. I wonder if that's right. I wonder if when the browser crashes, it like starts again from 0 or something. Because with Amazon puffers being given away, you know, you kind of figure people will like that. Okay, scrolling. I'm almost there. Here. Oh, so close, so close. Jody, will you get those beautiful platinum lyre-tail mollies back? Yes. That's another one where there's literally one breeder I know of that breeds those where I can get them, and they don't always have them available. So I wasn't aware that we were out, actually. Let me see. I'm supposing we are, because you're asking. Let's see here. Platinum lyre-tail molly trio. Yeah, we are out, aren't we? This was a fun one. So this is what we're referring to. I mean, look at this fish. This one was bred and raised right here at Dan's Fish, by the way. That's the kind of genetics the strain has. Here's what they look like when they're young and when your camera's not good and you don't know how to photograph them. But they turn into, and this one looks pretty good. It's starting to develop nicely. But they turn into absolute stunners. Absolutely amazing fish. Hard to find, though. So we bred a batch or two and then raised them, had fun, and then sold them off. So I don't have them anymore. Do you get red tail spiny eel? Okay, yeah, I already talked about that. Mr. W squared. Any fish for wide temperatures, including mid-high 80s and above, with a few cold days in winter, central South Florida, besides Medaka? Yes, Aphanius. Oh my gosh. Take 4, folks. Okay, let me refresh this and then I will show you. Jeez. Show you this amazing group of fish. And, along with some others as well, but yes. Okay. And so Aphanius. Let's start with Mento. And I think actually the genus name just changed recently, but this is an absolutely stunning fish. It reminds me of like a dwarf, a pygmy sunfish. Just super beautiful. I've kept and bred these over the years. They're one of my all-time favorites. Energetic little guys, and they can take from really cold to really hot. They're basically North Africa and that kind of region's answer to pupfish. Super hardy. Besides the Mento, there's several other species. These guys. Where's Dispar? I'm sure Dispar will show up. If not, I'll search for it. There it is. Like, that's a pretty cool one. There we go. Look at that. Kind of extended fins, lots of iridescence, stripes, yellow on black. I think Aphanius are awesome. There's a lot of fundulous species that could do it. Chrysotis. So this one might be around you. You might be able to find these in Florida, but this is Funnellus chrysotis. These guys can take a pretty wide temperature range, and some of them are melanistic. They have these black spots all over them, which I think is pretty cool. Another one would be paradise fish. They're gorgeous. You can find them in all kinds of colors. You can get them in albino, you can get them in this, you can get them in like yellows and oranges. And as long as it is the Macropodus is it a percularis? What is it? A percularis, yeah. They can take warm and cold temperatures just fine. What else? Super hardy, wide range of temperatures. I mean, there's many more, but several live bearers that are really hardy. So those are some. Have you had J barbs? Yes, I love them. I wish I could have them in stock all the time. Next time I can get them again, I will. Hard to source those guys. Or Somfong grasboris. Well, I don't know what a Somfong grasbora is, so let's learn together real quick. Let's see what this looks like. No, this is one I've never had. Same genus as like a Harlequin rasbora, huh? No, that's not one I've ever had. I haven't looked for it either, but I haven't seen it on the lists, although they might call it something else. So J-barbs, man, I wish I could get them. Very rarely can I get my hands on something like that, but when I can, I do. So Sarah, now that you have found some virus-free programs, any chance that honey are coming soon? There's a chance, but I've never seen honey gouramis on this breeder's list, so I don't think so. I can occasionally get dwarf gouramis from them, but no honey gouramis. So I would love to, but if they're not, and maybe they're working with them and I don't know it, but the last thing I would want them to do is bring in a strain of honey gouramis to add it and infect their other ones, the pearl gouramis and dwarf gouramis. So, but no, Sarah, I don't know of anywhere that I can find the honey gouramis virus free. I'm looking though. That's one of my favorite gouramis ever. I don't know if a virus free source exists. If it does, I haven't found it yet. And by the way, we're talking all the way back to the wild. Like, I've purchased wild collected pearl gouramis in the hopes they didn't have the virus, and they did. So now, where did they collect them from? Maybe they collected them from really nasty water where the sewer ran into it or something. You know, I don't know. I'm sure there's wild populations that don't have the virus. I would hope so. But the source where I can get them wild collected, they still had it too. So that's a tough one. Mr. WW recommended you to a few people looking for ethically sourced fish recently. Keep growing. Oh, Mr. WW, I appreciate that. That is the biggest help anyone can give us, is spreading the word of mouth, right? That's, for any business, that's the most effective thing. So we appreciate that. Keep it coming. We love it. Okay. I just got gifted a membership, says many thanks. Hey, congrats. That's awesome. What lip balm are you using? This is chapstick. It's just the label, the standard original black chapstick. It's just the label is, label got a little tear in it. It was like annoying me, so I tore the label off. Loving the shipment videos that you are posting lately. I hope my shipment gets a video. I may or may not cry. Oh, Anna Banana. I hope yours does too. I never know though. I mean, I never know what I'm going to do. There's only a few I can choose from because I can't get in the way of the crew as they're working. So I go to that area and I see what's available. And if yours is there, it might show up. Zen Corey Cats, I really like the shout outs y'all have been doing for shipments. Hey, thanks. I'm glad people like those. I was trying to think of a way to do shorts that was different from what everyone else is doing. And I was like, Well, I'm kind of in a unique position because who else is shipping fish that's posting shorts? Not that many. And who else that is doing that has enough success that they would not mind or even encourage their customer to leave a comment actually letting people know how it went. So I was like, I think this is something I could do that would be unique, and it'd be an interesting way to tell people about a fish while having a neat angle on it. So we'll see. We'll keep them coming for a while and see if they catch on. And if they do, great, we'll keep doing them. And if they don't, we'll try something else. How difficult are the M. rossoi killifish? What genus is that? They've changed the name so much of like the South Americans. M. rossoi killifish. See if I can. Melanorivolus rossoi. So this must be a species that was, until fairly recently, called Rivulus rossoi. Yeah. Neat Rivulus species. I don't know. This is one that I have never kept. Look how beautiful that is. Does Franz have them? If Franz has them, I would refer you to him. Yeah, back then it was Rivulus rossoi, before the name changed. So this guy is the go-to for info on South American killifish. So I would refer you to It Rains Fishes. See if I can get there. I would contact Franz, and I'll post this in the chat for you. I encourage you to contact Franz. He knows about those fish. I have no experience with that particular species that I remember. Okay, let's hear it. It's 8:23. We can go a little longer. Let's go a little longer. Go to 8:30-ish. John Kivlin, you guys do a great job trying to get in with the Manicapuru. It looks like the weather will be decent next week for the Northeast. Thanks for the reminder. Hey, yeah. And again, like that 1% just gets me. That 1% that doesn't do well. But they're worth it. The Manicapuru, I mean, once they size up and color in, you'll see it. You'll know what I'm talking about in a couple months here. How many Bolivian ramps would you recommend for a 75-gallon community? I would get at least a dozen. That way you get a lot of interaction back and forth. A lot of displaying, pairing off, and all that. I think a dozen would be awesome. You could see some real good behavior if you get that many. I mean, I'm assuming you've got more fish in there. Yeah, there's other fish in there, so you don't want to take it all up. Yeah, a dozen leaves you plenty of room for other fish, but gives you plenty to watch. And if they grow out and you're like, yeah, that's a little too many, then you can always, par it down to 8 or 6. But I think what usually happens is people get some fish, grow them up, and are like, man, I wish I had more of those. I think that's what usually happens. Any love for salt water, says Harry Mom. Yes, I love salt water. I like looking at it, but I don't like keeping it. So if you lived next door and you had a bunch of awesome saltwater aquariums, I would be there all the time. Like the amazing adaptations, the colors, the behaviors, like saltwater is awesome. I just don't want to take care of it. And honestly, there's so much awesome stuff in freshwater that I don't think I'll ever hit the bottom of that pool of fun and feel the need to switch to saltwater. But, maybe one day, never say never. But freshwater I find a lot easier and so much to learn there that, I just stick there. When we get some neon guppies in, I don't know. I will try though. That is one I want to bring back in. Are you interested in black crown-tail guppies and red tuxedo crown-tail guppies? Maybe. I've never tried the crowns before. So that would be new territory for me. I have a feeling, and I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that crown-tail strains might have a propensity for being very erratic. where some have really nice filaments and then others, a lot of them are fused and stuff like that. But if they're uniform and stuff, and if the fish can swim normally and have a happy life and all that, then I would consider it. The crown tails I've seen, though, there's very little tail fin. Like I look at those and I'm like, can that fish actually swim without, I don't know. So I would consider it. If you have pictures, if you have some available and have pictures, I would consider it if you send them to us. hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO@dansfish.com. And this is, people are gonna be like, that's hypocritical. You sell veil tail swordtails. That's true. It is a little hypocritical, but I've observed the veil tail swordtails and they seem to be having a great life. They seem to be just fine. So that's kind of where I draw the line. If I keep the fish and I observe it and I'm like, yeah, that's so deformed, it's struggling, like some of your goldfish, for example, not yours, Spinster, but some goldfish, then I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be involved in that. But I don't mind mutations and things as long as the fish is having a good life. Okay. Brandlin. Need another Corridors giveaway. They are the best fish. Oh, they so are. I mean, there's lots of best fish, but they're definitely the best fish. Just like several others. All right, I think we're going to call it quits. I want to thank everyone for being here. I really enjoy hanging out with you guys. I don't have a local fish club, and so this for me is as close as I get to like rubbing elbows with fish nerds at fish club meetings, which I really miss. When I lived in Los Angeles, I could do that all the time. There were a ton of fish clubs, always something going on. But now that I live out in Wyoming, harder to do that. So thanks for scratching that itch for me. I appreciate it. I want to thank the moderators. Thanks for volunteering your time. I want to thank the members of the channel and anyone that gave away memberships. Huge, huge thank you. That's so helpful to this effort. I want to thank folks that threw money at us. Super chats are always appreciated. They're never required, but they help. So thank you. Anyone that was active in the chat, thanks for participating. If you were not active in the chat, I still love you. Hail the Lurker Nation. And if you're watching the replay, hello from the past. If you're listening to the podcast, thanks for listening. We did it. We got to the end. We'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Till then, have a great one. Bye-bye, everybody.